Sign away your life.
All right.
What are you signing?
It says, it looks like I'm signing away my house. The South Carolina Democratic. I didn't know that.
It's notice of candidacy and pledge.
And what I say to my Republican colleagues, you know, I know that if you stand up for science and if you're prepared to do something about climate change, I understand that the Koch brothers and the fossil fuel industry will stop funding your campaigns. Well, I say to hell with the fossil fuel industry. And I say to Republican candidates for president, worry more about your children and your grandchildren than your campaign contributions. But people must do more than just echo the phrase, Black Lives Matter. We must put actions behind those words. Actions that will bring about the fundamental reform that is needed in the face of this crisis. Criminal justice reform must be the civil rights issue of the 21st century, and the first piece that we must address is police reform. The killings of unarmed African Americans has got to stop.
Recently, Donald Trump had actually said that Muslims should be wearing badges and they should be monitored 24/7. What is your take on that?
My take is that what he said was outrageously bigoted and outrageously unconstitutional and a totally absurd statement. I don't have to explain to the people in this room what discrimination is about and how easy it is to point the finger and to go after people because of the color of their skin or because of their religion. We're going to fight that tooth and nail. And I'll tell you what worries me about Trump is when he starts talking about things like that, it kind of opens the door for a lot of latent racism. You know, you were raising that issue. You know, and people who are racist, who have racist sympathy, suddenly feel emboldened. They can now say stupid things that they were embarrassed about saying a year ago, because you got a presidential candidate saying stupid things. So what our job is together is to shut that door of racism completely. We've had too much of that in this country. Shut it closed.
I want you to know I was at your dad's speech in Washington in 1963. It's a little bit younger at the time.
5 months.
Oh, is that right?
You represent the opportunity for me to allow black people to get back into the game of owning businesses, back into the game of having trade and skill again. And it's something even our politicians don't talk about in the same way. But the stuff that you talk about is transformative in that way.
I am here as a proponent for a political revolution that says health care is a right of every citizen. I'm here because working class and poor people deserve a chance at economic freedom. And yes, if you work 40 hours a week, you should not be in poverty. That's why I'm
here. Dr. King was a great leader because he understood that justice in America was even more than civil rights. It was economic rights as well. And what he said was that of course we have to end segregation at lunch counters and in hotels and at universities and schools. But then he also said, what difference does it make if a family can't afford to send their kid to those schools or eat in that restaurant?
absolutely. Stand me to it.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
You're doing my band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.